Hi drummers, Garey Williams is back with another reaction and analysis video. Today we get to hear the amazing Akira Jimbo. You got to check this guy out. If you're not familiar with him, he's one of the more advanced drummers out on the scene today. So here it goes. You hear those? He combines electrics with acoustic. 3, 2, rumba, pop, and that's a Cascada pattern. Yes! Nice salsa bell. That. Whoa! Oh, those are like 6 strokes, I think. Nice little flamax and stuff. Okay. So now they're in the 6/8 rumba. Some nice hair it does. Singles. Yes, singles, 60s. Now he's orchestrating it. Kind of Afro-Cuban 6/8. Two up, two down. Ooh. Look at that multi-pedal work. His left foot's going back and forth, kind of straddling. Stop. See, this is like left, right, right, I think. Yeah. Yes! Yeah! Wow! Give it up. Damn. That guy is just incredible. So he did a lot of amazing stuff in this. So we're going to have to talk about Mr. Akira Jimbo. So he started out playing this cascada pattern on one of his small, like timbali left side drums. You could see all the cowbells going around there. He's got two on the left side, probably a bongo and a mambo bell, and then he had the salsa bell on the bass drum, which is really cool, fat, ringy, nice sound. So he was doing a lot of this 3-2 son clave, which is da da ba 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 ba. Now, the person that really got me started on this was Horacio El Negro Hernandez. When I first saw him play on a Modern Drummer Festival video, I actually kind of cried a little. I was like, what is going on here? And actually, the first time I ever heard El Negro play was on a Michel Camilo album, which I was familiar with from studying Dave Weckl, Joe Rosenblatt, and some other drummers that played with him after that. But man, when all of a sudden I heard this track that this keyboard player friend of mine who's into salsa music played for me many years ago, it was like Afro-Cuban Vinny Colaiuta, and it was just amazing. So Akira comes from that same lineage of this like quadra dexterity. I mean, he had electric pads. I've heard him play many years ago. He has these compositions, kind of like Terry Bozzio. In fact, I'm pretty sure Terry Bozzio was inspired by some of Akira Jimbo's work, because he would play these pieces with those trigger pads, and he would have like some sampled loops and sustained sounds. He used a little bit of this right at the very beginning, but for the rest of the solo, it was mostly all acoustic drumming. Even though he seemed to have those pads up there, he wasn't working them into this particular solo presentation. But he does these long kind of compositional solos, and he can actually almost play keyboard tracks and drum parts at the same time with some of the triggers and the sequence keyboard lines that come from those pads that he strikes occasionally. So if you really liked what you heard, you might want to check this guy out. This was very strongly Afro-Cuban. And then after playing for a period of time in this basically 4/4 or 8/8 3-2 rumba clave and soloing, his right foot was playing mostly the tumbao, which is a rhythm that's played on the bass. That means bass. But he was breaking it up a little bit more, and then just lots of floaty hand stuff and over the bar line stuff and accents on the 4 and the and of 4, because in salsa music there's not a strong downbeat. It's more of an accent on the and of 2 if you're thinking cut time on ga, or 1 2 3 4. So he was kind of mimicking some of those ways that those Afro-Cuban drummers play, where they do that kind of, it's much more syncopated and not so focused on the downbeat. And it's a 2-bar format with the 3-2 rumba clave on the left foot with that red jam block bass drum pedal attachment. So then he transitioned into a 3-2 rumba 6/8. Now, I went through Horacio El Negro Hernandez's book, Conversations in Claves, many years ago. Took a very long time. Very, very complex. Even more advanced than Gary Chester's New Breed, because you have to add the left foot clave, which I did through all that book. But what's going on is that you learned how to move from 8/8 to 6/8. You would go back and forth. So he had it all worked out. So you play like the first measure of a cascada pattern, and the second measure would be, the second half of an Afro-Cuban 6/8. Or you do the first measure would be the first half of an Afro-Cuban 6/8, and then the 2 side would be the salsa, or with the cascada. So I know I'm probably talking about some stuff most of you guys aren't familiar with. I've done a lot of in-depth study into the Latin music, and I always loved hearing drummers that pull that out, because Latin drumming originally did not have a drum set. In fact, the drum set is not an authentic Latin instrument. It's purely an American phenomenon. Latin percussion sections consisted of drummers, lots of them playing one instrument at a time. That's the difference between being a percussionist versus a drummer. Drummer is a multi-percussionist player. Percussionist plays one instrument unless they do a multiple percussion solo, but typically don't incorporate the feet at all. So it's just an upper body experience as a percussionist. So that's one of the things when you can get into this multi-pedal stuff like he was doing, which was pretty amazing. He had this left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right thing going that was very hip and happening. I heard that played, I think, years ago. I think it was Greg Bissonette that did something possibly like that at a clinic solo, and so I swiped that and incorporated some of that stuff in. But moving from 4/4 to 6/8 was very hip. Loved a little bit of the flashy stuff. His cymbals were really quite high, drums low, but part of that is because he's incorporating some triggers between the cymbals on some instances. His drum setup configuration, I think, has changed over the years slightly, but it has been pretty large with the electronics implemented with the acoustics. So pretty incredible stuff. Lots of hair tuss, fast single strokes, very interesting kind of combination of unison strokes, right hand tack on tom, left hand buzz. Boy, it's one of those things where you could go back and use your custom slow down speed option on YouTube, and that you could really pick apart some of the stuff he's doing. But it's fortunate for me that I'm familiar with the salsa stuff, because I was able to figure out where the downbeat was right away, because it's not so obvious. And he was playing accents again on syncopated portions, or where you didn't expect. So that's the great Akira Jimbo, an absolutely phenomenal drummer that definitely deserves a lot of credit for what he's done for the drumming community. Though a lot of you might not be that familiar with him, I think he's had definitely an impact on some of our great drummers that we're hearing today. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell for updates. If you're interested in lessons, I got information in the text box below. You can just email me. Be happy to help you improve your drumming. Also got some classes and a very cool Facebook group that you're welcome to come and request to be a member of, and then I'll invite you in. So until then, have a great day, and we'll see you on the next reaction and analysis video. Take care, and bye-bye.